So we were discussing about the concept of positioning and differentiation. Now I think I had discussed with reference to repairability. Isn't it? I had stopped here, it seems. Now here, when there is competition, okay, the companies think of placing themselves with some USP in their offering, maybe the service sector or with reference to the goods offered to the customer. Now here many of the companies try to focus on the features, some of them on the quality, the other on the durability. So here it depends upon the marketers which feature or which attribute they would like to highlight. Now coming to the style part, which describes the product's look and feel to the buyer. Now here buyers are usually, they are ready to pay premium price for the products which are attractive in terms of style. If you take the automobiles, the style matters. If you take the packaging, style matters. So here style has more aesthetic role to play rather than functionality. Now Starbucks coffee, it's presented, okay, the style, the customer basically pays for the presentation and the style. Similarly, if you take design, the integrating force. Now here, as the competition increases, the design offers a way to differentiate and position the company's products and services. Design is the factor that will often give a company its competitive edge. It's the totality of features that affect how the product will look or function in terms of customer requirements. Now, if you take into account the durable equipment, the apparel segment, the retail services, the packaged goods, here the design matters a lot. Now here, it depends upon the manufacturer how much amount they would invest in form, feature, development, performance, conformance, durability, reliability, repairability, and style. Now here, as you try to emphasize or highlight a single attribute, the other things which go with these are the pricing. The main and important thing is the pricing. Then the innovative part. That is the technological part which goes into it. The customer will always be delighted when when the customer gets everything bundled up or coupled up all together. But now it depends upon the marketers, how they will collaborate all these things. Now many of the marketers, they focus one or the other differentiation attribute in the advertising. Through the advertising, they would like to focus. Now if you take the furniture, okay, furniture features the design part. If you say the Italian furniture, okay, so here the design part is there. Similarly, if you take any electronic goods, the performance quality matters. The features which go into that electronic goods, maybe your smartphone or a television or a laptop, the features, the form and the quality matters. Now, durability is better with reference to those products which are non-technical, but where the customer thinks of having one-time investment, where the customer uh, thinks of just purchasing once or twice. Now here, moving ahead with the concept of positioning and differentiation. Now even the services are differentiated. When physical produces, they can be easily differentiated. Same applies to the services also. Now, as services are intangible, here in terms of product offerings, one can have a look at the products. One can think of touching it, feeling it, experiencing it, or having a demo also. Now, this is not the case with the service industry. Here, one cannot say that just we will have a demo. Maybe I will take a ride and come back and then pay the amount for the tickets. This does not happen in case of services. Now, here, the main attributes are the ordering ease, delivery, installation, customer training, customer consulting, and maintenance and repair are in here. Now, ordering ease refers to how easy it is for the customer to place an order with the company. Now, here, digital mode has opened up the avenues for the companies to mark an edge over the process part, where the customer just logins to the company website or maybe through the company app and places the order. They have the choice, ready choice available through these apps or maybe through the other gadgets like laptop, smartphone, etc. Now, many of the banks are providing the services with the help of penetration of IT and database management. It becomes much more easier for the banks to trace the customer records, as well as for the customers also. It becomes convenient to place the orders or to transact when it comes to banks. Very easily one can think of using the banking services. Now, if you take, for example, even the healthcare sector, one can think of downloading the apps or just visiting the portals also. One can think of booking the appointments with reference to that particular doctor. So here, the customer care departments are there who help the customers to get whatever is required within less time. Similarly, delivery is one of the aspects which refers to how well the product or the service is delivered to the end customer. It includes the speed, the accuracy, and care attending the delivery process. Now, here, whenever we place an order, okay, one can think of tracking the orders very easily. We come to know when the goods will reach us, by what time they will reach us. Companies are becoming much more aware about speeding up of the deliveries to the clients. Now, these points somewhere build up company reputation also. So the companies think of having innovative strategies with reference to these attributes so that they can have their own unique space or unique identification as against the competitors. So when the customer evaluates the single brand or the single company with the other competitors, the customer always marks a particular brand at the top or is on the priority list of the customer. Now, usually the buyers often choose a supplier with a better reputation for on-time delivery. Now here again their previous experience or previous past history plays a very important role. Maybe in the past, if the customer might have experienced that the goods were not delivered on time. Okay, so somewhere that baggage the customer carries, and next time he may say that he may think that previous during the previous transaction the customer was not satisfied. So here there is a possibility of customer being having a prejudiced view from the past experiences. Now, installation refers to the work done to make a product operational. So it refers more with the process part in its planned location. Now, usually if you see, it's with reference to the heavy equipment, mainly in B2B transactions, business to business transactions, where the customer expects the good installation services by the vendors. Now, differentiating at this point in the consumption chain is particularly important for companies with complex products or complex machineries, equipments. So here, usually, maybe if you take into account the printing machinery or the laboratory equipments, where the installation requires the software application or maybe they have the inbuilt programs. Okay, so there is a technician who takes care of it, who visits frequently, who monitors, who installs for the convenience of the customers. Many a times, maybe for the first time when the installation process has to be taken up, the company personnel comes and demonstrates. Also, customer training is one of the important uh, variable or attribute in the services differentiation part. Customer training, it refers to training the customers employees to use the vendors equipment properly and efficiently, or maybe some of the equipments which are highly specialized, where the customer requires some know-how of the technology. In terms of B2B business, if we take into consideration the machineries or the equipments which are used extensively in the service sectors, then here the company personnel visits the particular center to train the customers or the household and trains the person. So training becomes essential more in terms of business to business operations or transactions. Customer consulting. Customer consulting refers to data information systems, and advising services that the sellers offer to buyers. Now, according to the requirement of the customer, a consultant thinks of editing the package or editing the service. Maintenance and repair describes the service program for helping customers keeping purchased products in good working condition. So many a times you see that in terms of automobiles, most of the companies, okay, they collect the revenue through this means of maintenance and repair, as the companies have the high end selling offerings, so they have to maintain relations with the clients. The clients always are in contact with the company personnel for this maintenance and repair of the automobiles, and many a times the retailer or the dealer is in so much of demand where people have to book an appointment, and to manage the traffic or pool of services, a retailer has to develop a app or maybe has to set up a different totally different department where just uh, care of this repair and maintenance of automobile is taken. Now, personal differentiation. Companies can gain a strong competitive advantage and mark their space by having better trained people. Now, if you take, for example, the hospitality industries, the chain of restaurants, the chain of hospitals, here the people play a very vital role, because the people, those who are providing the services directly to the those who are in contact with the customers, okay, they are the reflection of the organization, they are the face of the organization. Hence, to maintain the standardization, many a times you will see that uh, certain etiquettes or manners are standardized, the dress code is standardized so as to bring uniformity among the employees. That's why, if you take an example of McDonald's, where people are very much courteous, they are very kind. The IBM people are professional, the Disney people are upbeat. So here they have their own characteristics. Many of the companies like Cisco or Frito-Lay or Pfizer, they enjoy the reputation, or the IT companies like Infosys, they enjoy the reputation in terms of mapping the competency of the personnel with reference to their competitors. Here can one can think of exhibiting six characteristics in terms of differentiating the personnel. One is competency, that is, they possess the required skill and knowledge. Now, here, if you take into account the IT companies, where the IT managers, they are on toes every now and then, there are escalations taking place, and The people have to manage the problems, solve the queries of the customers, the overseas clients. So the skill and knowledge uh, part is required. Courtesy. Now here they are friendly, respectful, and considerate. So this is a requirement for the hospitality industry. Similarly, credibility. They are trustworthy, or reliability, that they perform the service consistently and accurately. Responsiveness. They respond quickly to customers' requests and problems. Proper cognizance of the grievance of the customer is taken care of. They make effort to understand the customer's requirements and communicate them clearly, within time, and properly. Channel differentiation. Companies can achieve competitive advantage through the way they design the distribution channels. What is the area to be covered, the expertise on the channel, and the performance of the channel. Now, the success of the Caterpillar company is based, the construction equipment industry is based on the superior channel development through its dealers. If you take the other examples are like Dell in computers, who pioneered in direct marketing. If you take the cosmetic industries, Avion has identified itself through its unique way of approaching the customers directly. In the previous session, I gave an example of the Tupperware brand, which enters through the differentiation in channel part. Many of the companies, they think of using digital mode, online mode, to reach the end customers. They do not go for the traditional modes of business. Image differentiation. Now here, buyers respond differently to company and brand images. The primary way to account the reflection is through the image of the organization. Now here, identity and image seem to be same many a times. Identity comprises the ways that the company aims to identify or position itself or its offerings. And image is the way the people or the general masses, they think about the company, they perceive about the company and its offerings. An effective image can establish the product's character. One can think of mapping the image of the organization with the image of the offering and also the value proposition. It also, in a way, conveys the distinct character of its uniqueness as compared to the competitors. Now, the next part is through symbols. Many a times we identify various symbols and we try to correlate the symbols with the organization or the companies. Now here the companies carefully think of choosing the symbols. There should be certain logic when they choose the symbols. Next is important thing is the media. The chosen media must be worked into ads and the media should be able to convey the message and map the perception of the customers. The atmosphere, that is the physical space occupied by the company, is another powerful image generator. A bank that wants to convey the image of a safe bank must communicate through the building architecture or interior design, layout, colors, materials, and furnishings. A company can be identified through events it sponsors. So many a times the companies think of having the differentiation based upon the image part. Now, whenever a company thinks of positioning the product, the first thing is to strengthen its own current position in the consumers or customers' mind. The company should be able to convince the customer about the value proposition it is offering through the products. The benefits must be emphasized, the differences must be highlighted. Then only the company can be seen as selling something unique or something distinct from the competitors. Now, not everyone agrees that single benefit positioning is always the best. Double benefit positioning may be necessary if two or more firms claim to be best on the same attributes. As companies increase the number of claims for their brands, they risk disbelief and a loss of clear positioning. Now, in general, a company should think of avoiding four major positioning errors. Now, when we speak in terms of offerings or service differentiation, the company should not think of going for under positioning. Some companies discover that buyers have only vague idea of the brand. They have not tried a product, they have not seen the product. Okay. Also, over positioning, where buyers have too many narrow image of the brand. Many a times people are confused with the over positioning of the offering. They do not know the actual price of the product. They perceive that they are on the higher side. Many a times the buyers might have a confused image of the brand. Now, when the company thinks of claiming too many things, the customer most of the time gets confused and exactly doesn't know what exactly to believe and what not to. So when the companies they claim, buyers may find it hard to believe the brand claims in terms of maybe features, the product's features, price. Now here you might have come across many of the ads where you feel that this is non-realistic, what they are showing. That is immediate thought which comes to our mind when we just have a glimpse of that advertisement. Now here it depends upon the manufacturer. Okay, what the manufacturer is going to highlight, whether it is with reference to a special attribute of the offering or a component which goes into the offering which will attribute the positioning, or is it with reference to benefit seeked by using the product and focus is benefit positioning. the use or application positioning, user positioning, and the competitors positioning. So here when the one or the other positioning is thought of, it has certain objectives. It has to reach to those particular masses. Many a times it becomes a challenging task for the companies to convince the customers about the differentiation. Now, any doubts up till here? Hello?
No, ma'am.
Now, the next part is evaluating the market segment. The first and foremost thing is the segment attractiveness. Here, before thinking about a particular market segment, the companies think of whether the segment would be that much attractive. Just because they chalk out a gap or identified a gap, that's why they should place the product is totally wrong. Actually, if they find the potential in that gap, then only they will offer the product at otherwise what will happen, it will be a boomerang. If the companies offer the product and there are no customers who are willing to buy the offering, there is no point in placing such a offering, such a product in the market. Next is the size of the segment. So here, when one thinks about deriving volumes, most of the competitors, they would like to have maximum profitability and the reach. The basic motive is to grab the market share. So unless and until the segment is attractive, the companies will not think of entering into that particular market. Now here again, the looking at the potential of the market is of prime importance. The size of the segment has to be understood. How much would be the size of the segment? Who all will be the customers? What would be the expectations of the customers, and whether the company is in a frame of mind, I mean, in terms of the environmental analysis factor, whether the company can satisfy the customer requirements. Also, the segment should be attractive enough to grow within no time frame. Maybe today, if the company enters in a particular segment where there are no competitors, where the product is totally new or novel, but slowly and steadily the competitors will follow. So, at such situation, what would be the strategy of the marketers? Many a times it happens that a pioneer enters the market, struggles to grab the market share, but there is a follower who is at a very faster rate, faster pace, acquires the market share. Maybe they may be banking on one of the attribute of differentiation, but they bank upon the their USP in the product. Profitability is also one of the important aspect. Now, whether to go for segmentation or convince the customers on one-to-one basis or individual market, individually connecting with the customers, these strategies, these ways totally depend. It depends upon the companies, what the company wants to achieve. The scale economies. Now, The more the market share, the more the company penetrates in the market, better are the scale of economies. The cost is spread in terms of overall demand of the offering. It helps the marketers in terms of gaining economies of scale with reference to all the four P's of marketing. Now, also, while evaluating the market segment, one should see to it that low risk is adhered or low risk is involved. One cannot think of banking upon a particular company which does go ahead with the blind segmentation strategy. Now, here again, one very important factor is companies' overall objectives and resources should be met. So here, if the company is trying to achieve more of the market share by satisfying the customers, then here one cannot think of having just the advertising as the objectives to improve the sales. Now coming to the next part, there is one point that is the long tail marketing. We had seen the types of or the levels of marketing, like we had the segment market, the mass segmenting, the individual marketing, and the niche market. So here, the companies focus on these niche markets. So those products which are very rare, where the customer demand is less, it's there, but it's less. Okay. So such type of expectations are catered by companies or manufacturers. It is known as the long tail marketing, where the products which are not popular or which are customized or specialized are sold by the manufacturer. So while considering the marketing strategies, the managers also take into account these aspects. Now here, the manufacturers, since the customers are less, expect to be in the small volumes and to gain substantial profits. They derive huge profits by just catering to a small volume of goods. Here, many a times, as the demand is fluctuating, or one cannot think of having the predictions for demand, the storing and warehousing is one of the limitation. Now, wherever the customer does not seek for those goods, unnecessarily locking the space by storing the more inventory is not worth for the organization or for the companies. Now, if we see, if you consider an example of Amazon, through its online marketing, it's able to focus the niche segment. So here, for Amazon, it becomes much more easier because of the integrated technology, because of the centralized warehousing, where it does not matter for Amazon to just block one shelf for this segment, for this rare segment. Maybe in terms of, maybe a customer thinks of ordering uh, the books or any specialized items. So here the mantra is that the customer should not leave the, we can say, not store but online store empty handed. So everything is there in the bundle to offer. Many a times we see that some of the books, they're out of stock. The label is there, out of stock. So here maybe the company can think of having a waiting time for the customers, as there are no other players who will provide whatever is sought by the customers. So have you understood what do you mean by long tail marketing? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Whether you understood what is long tail marketing. So can you think of any examples with reference to this point of long tail marketing? Hello. So here we say whether you understood long tail marketing. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So can you think of any example of any businesses which come into this category?
Parle-G. Hello,
Parle-G.
ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah, कारण त्यांनी प्राइस तेच ठेवले, फक्त वजन कमी कमी करत गेले. मग लोकांना मेंटॅलिटी पार्लेजी चांगला गुड आहे आणि पण प्राइस तीच ठेवली. त्यांची मार्केटिंग स्ट्रॅटेजी लोकांना फिट नसलं मनात.
Now see long tail marketing, whatever example you are saying, okay. Parle-G is a famous brand. People like to purchase it. Okay, it is popular product, no? Yes or no?
Yes.
So here the reverse is the case. Please understand what do you mean by long tail marketing, where the companies focus on niche segment. That means apart from the masses, the product which is not purchased by people, usually the masses. That is what it means. You understood now?
Yes, ma'am.
So whether this Parle-G example will fit here, it will not fit, isn't it? Anybody else knows who can quote any example with reference to this concept? That's why I asked you whether you have understood this concept. There are many sugar-free products available in the market. Okay, so here there are marketers manufacturing those products. There are very few customers who will try and use the product. Similarly, if we take into consideration certain resorts or certain hotels, okay, where the pets are allowed. Usually the pets are not allowed, no? So maybe in some of the resorts where the people are allowed with the pets, partying with the pets is done, and basically it's for the pets only. So this becomes a very niche segment where the customer thinks of offering something different from the masses. Have you understood now? Now here, the company sells a small volume, but the pricing is too high, and that's why they enjoy the profits. The companies derive huge profits through this particular marketing, using this long tail marketing strategy. Now, have you understood this concept?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Now, I am done with this chapter of segmentation. Now, any doubts as far as the total segmentation is considered? Do you have any doubts? Hello?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now, think of segmenting a product like wristwatch. What would be the criteria to segment the market for wristwatch? Now, this is just a discussion time, okay? How we can segment it? On what basis? Hello? The companies have made it much more easier through websites or online portals. Okay. You might have purchased through the online mode. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So whenever you want to purchase something, when you visit the portal, what is the first thing you do? When you visit the website of that online portal, what is the first thing which you do?
Firstly, check the brand and design and specification.
Okay. But what is the first thing? First thing you just type the keyword, okay, of what you are searching. Maybe if I am searching for a watch, wristwatch, I will type wristwatch. Okay. So directly we are navigated to that through navigation. We go to particular tab where the wristwatch is there. Okay. And when you open the page, what you will see at the left hand corner, is there a tab which specifies many things, whether you have noticed that. And many of us, okay, in day-to-day routine, we check those tabs. Maybe in terms of whether you are purchasing any apparel or anything, what is specified on the left hand side? Anybody, you have noticed, you are using it. What is it exactly? What the company is doing there? What it is focusing upon?
Ma'am, the cart.
The cart, okay. The cart, what is there in that cart?
You can add your product, whatever you are going to purchase,
Okay, this is not
or
what I was expecting actually.
or a wish
Cart is
list.
like, you can say, a basket, okay, where you just put the products. I am speaking of a particular tab, whenever you enter the portal on the web page, okay, when you go inside, suppose I am searching for any category of product, maybe watch, maybe apparel, maybe smartphone, anything. On the left side, you will have the specifications,
The
isn't it?
filter.
Yes.
The filter.
Yeah, the filter with reference to what are the attributes or variables which are specified on that filters. You have different tabs, no, there. Maybe with, if you're maybe with reference to watch, or with reference to apparel, gender is there, their stated gender, is it there?
Yes, ratings.
Yeah, ratings is another aspect. What I am speaking of, think from the segmentation perspective. Whether there is gender tab, yes. Whether there is something related to income,
Your
what
budget.
is it? That is price.
Hmm.
They give the range of the price, that in between this to this, this to this, and you just go through the drop box and just you choose one button. Okay, whatever is according to your budget, you just click the tab. On the basis of gender, if you go, there are specifications, maybe for kids, adults, teenagers, okay, and you just click it. Then you go into the make or the design of the apparel. You just click it, you will get it. If you think from the watches perspective, okay, if you go to the gender, there will be men, women, okay, even kids. In kids, you will have the girls, boys. You have different age groups also. If there are also strap colors for watches, whether you have observed this, the brand is
Yes,
there, the tab of brand is there, the income, that is the pricing tag is there, the strap color is mentioned, the dial color is mentioned, the features are mentioned, the movement are mentioned. What is all these things? What does these tabs specify? So here it is helping the customers to map with their requirements. So here this is nothing but segmentation, isn't it? Directly the manufacturer has given the segmentation part on the portal, easily available. The customers just enters and tries to map their requirements with the product availability. So here the matching is there. Have you understood this?
Yes, ma'am.
So think as a management student, starts thinking from the conceptual point of view. Many of you might be using this, no, in day-to-day transactions. We all do. When we enter the portal, on the right side, we just see what is the price, everything. Okay. But that is what is segmentation. Similarly, if you take of cosmetic industry, one can think of having, for example, if you take an example of a Nivea cream, the brand, okay, specific brand I am speaking of. They may have the general purpose cream. Maybe they may have a shower gel, the soap, the talc, the body care, the hand wash or hand care, the lip care, the deodorant. Again, on the basis of gender, they may have men's face care or female face care. So here, depending upon the skin also, they have specified based upon the different requirements. So what is all this? This is with a reference to the different aspects of segmentation. Now, any doubts here? Hello. So I hope that you have understood the segmentation part. Whenever the manufacturer thinks of coming up with any innovative product or offering, the company thinks of the target audience, those who will be using that offering. Okay, now today we will stop here. In the next session, we will continue with the next chapter. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.